Good morning, and we are in uh, a new week. We've got Doctrine and Covenants 77 through 80 to do. Most of this is pretty short. We're going to learn about a few things here. Um, and we, well, we've got a little bit of history, church history, and we also have a bit of doctrine. 77 will concentrate on most of the first half, 78 most of the second half, and then we'll throw in 79 and 80 at the end. Um, Less than 2 years after the Church of Jesus Christ was restored, it had been more than 2,000 it had more than 2,000 members and was growing quickly. In March 1832, Joseph Smith met with other church leaders to discuss church business, the need to publish revelations, purchase land to gather on, and care for the poor. Three things was mainly on their minds. To meet these needs, the Lord called on a small number of church leaders to form the United Firm, a group who would join their efforts to advance the cause of the Lord in these areas. But even in such administrative matters, the Lord focused on the things of eternity. Ultimately, the purpose of a printing press or a storehouse, like everything else in God's kingdom, is to prepare his children to receive a place in the celestial world and the riches of eternity. And if those blessings are hard to comprehend right now, in the midst of busyness of daily life, he reassures us, be of good cheer, for I will lead you along. In that vein, I like to think in our own lives when we're sitting there and we get busy in our daily lives, if we are having those moments where we um, are studying and praying and trying to receive um, inspiration on a daily basis, sometimes it's our life is busy, but the Lord will lead us in small ways as well. I know times when I've been studying the scriptures faithfully, and the very thing that I was studying um, in that week would come up in conversation and somehow at work or somewhere else where somebody had a question and the answer was in exactly what I was studying. Um, and it seems like this is a little bit how it was. And if you think of all the busyness that they're talking about here, most of it's talking about what do they have to do to get these things started, the printing and the getting the land uh, and everything ready. In the middle of that, he gets the revelation of Doctrine and Covenants 77, where it says God gives knowledge to people who seek it. As Joseph Smith and Sidney Rigdon worked on the inspired translation of the Bible, they had questions about the book of Revelation, as many people do. And as Joseph knew well, when he lacked wisdom, he could ask of God. The insights he gained are in Doctrine and Covenants 77. As you read this section, consider recording your insights in relevant chapters in the book of Revelation. What do you learn from your study about receiving revelation? Of course, it shows them during the translation of the Bible. Um, there's a lot we've got here um, to study, but we have very little text to do it with. We've got 15 verses. If we go into 77, 15 verses, um, and each of these verses are in a question and an answer. Um, and I hope to give each of these some time. So I'm going to not go into it today, and start it tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe Thursday, most likely Thursday. And then on Friday and Saturday, we'll study 78, which is the United Firm. Um, and then Sunday, we'll finish off with the last two sections, which are only about 4 verses each. So, this is also interesting enough. We're getting at the end of March, I believe at the end of March, um, Joseph and Hiram will be um, tarred and feathered, and one of Joseph's babies a few months after that will die from the exposure of that night. Um, just trying to keep things in perspective. Of course, at this point, they haven't had this. They've just had a marvelous vision of the degrees of glory. I don't like to call it the vision of the degrees of glory. Vision of the atoning power of Jesus Christ in saving all men. I'm trying to say it, change the way that I say that, because section 76 was big, as we read last week. And so we will get into this. So this was short today. I didn't want to make it long, but as you see, it's going to go through some really big questions in Revelation, and I'd rather give it its time. So we'll do that, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you read the scriptures and have that inspiration from them. And have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.